Reminded to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts with respect to any matter coming before the committee today. If anybody has such a conflict, would you please identify it? Seeing none, let's move on. I'm going to push a button here, so I may go away. Okay. Welcome to the first meeting of the LAMP Committee for the year 2022. My name is Mike Ramos. I'm the chair of this committee. It's my second year as chair. I'm going to go around because it's the first meeting of the year, and there are some new folks on the committee. I'm going to go around the virtual room here. Start with Jennifer Porter because she's in the top left-hand corner to introduce herself. Jennifer is most people would know as our staff liaison, and she's been with the committee since I've been on it. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thank you. I'm Jennifer Porter. I'm a deputy counsel at the state bar. Am I muted? No. Okay. And I'm mostly a disciplinary counsel, but as a retired JAG from the Air Force, I'm honored to also staff the LAMP Committee.
Scott Hart, I see you next.
Scott Hart, I'm a lawyer and the district bar counselor for District 4, which is Craven, Carteret, and Pamlico counties. So includes Cherry Point Marine Corps Air Station. And I am a proud Army brat and glad to be a part of the community.
John Wilson next.
I'm John Willardson, counselor for the 34th Judicial District, Wilkes, Ash, Allegheny, and Yadkin, and was 6 years in U.S. Army Reserve.
Mike Archer. Mike, you're muted. Mike Archer, you're muted.
There we go.
Yeah,
I think. I'm a retired Marine judge advocate. I am currently the director of legal assistance for Marine Corps Installations East. That's basically the Southeast U.S.
Thank you. Kirk.
Yeah, Kirk Warner. I'm at Smith Anderson, retired Army JAG, and I guess I'm vice chair. So
No guessing about it.
no guessing about it. Okay.
Meredith Egan.
Hi, I work at Fort Bragg. I'm a civilian attorney. I worked there for about 3.5 years, and I've been on the LAMP committee this entire time. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Lee Bachman.
Hey everybody, I'm Lee Bachman. I'm actually the counselor for Cumberland County, which is Fayetteville, which obviously is the home of Fort Bragg and the 18th Airborne Corps. And my balding look is just natural. I was never a member of the armed forces.
Kevin Kiernan.
Kevin Kiernan, the counselor for the 5th District, which is Onslow, Sampson, Duplin, and Jones. In Onslow, we have Camp Lejeune and New River. So that would be our ties. I was not in the military. I also am naturally bald.
Bert Kemp.
Good afternoon. I'm Bert Kemp. I'm the bar counselor for District 3, Pitt County, Greenville. I'm also the public defender and currently the state military judge for the North Carolina National Guard. Part-time.
David Hayden.
Yeah, David Hayden. I'm a former Army judge advocate. Used to be SJ 18th Airborne Court. So all you Fort Bragg folks, keep taking care of that place for me, will you? Work in a law firm called Smith Anderson up here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and enjoying the good life. Working with Kirk Warner.
Clark Sullivan.
There we go. Like Jennifer, I was commissioned in the Air Force, but at some time after that, I went over to the dark side and transferred to the Army. And these days, I'm retired Army JAG practicing in Raleigh, North Carolina.
And I can't see Samsung SMG955U.
Hi, I'm Chris Coyne. I'm retired
Okay.
Navy JAG and work legal assistance for the Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps. And now I'm in private practice for the King Law Firm in Fayetteville and the new webmaster.
That's right. I was just about to tell you that, unless you didn't know it. David Fox. David Fox.
Hey, I'm Dave Fox. I am an investigator with the North Carolina Attorney General's Office and Consumer Protection. I get military liaison, and I had some time in the Army as well.
Ellie Morales.
Hi, everyone. Ellie Morales here. I'm the director of the Veterans Legal Clinic at Wake Forest Law School in Winston-Salem, and I'm also still currently serving in the Army as a judge advocate.
And that's Gil Beck, I see.
Yes, Gil Beck, U.S. Attorney's Office, Asheville, retired Army JAG. Thank you.
Brittany Wilson.
Hi, I'm Brittany Wilson. I am Jennifer Porter's paralegal at the State Bar.
Thank you. Judge Whitney.
I'm Frank Whitney. I'm a retired Army military judge and currently a civilian judge.
Captain Paul, Jimmy Paul.
Good afternoon. My name is Captain Jimmy Paul. I am the Chief of Legal Assistance at 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Proudly been a member of this committee since July of last year. And I am in the Army and I'm not naturally bald.
Our State Bar President, Darren Jordan.
Hey, I'm Darren Jordan, State Bar President. I want to thank each and every one of you for agreeing to continue to serve on this committee, and for the new members, I appreciate that. It's a very important committee. My dad was an Army. He was in the 25th ID in Korea, was a Purple Heart. So military has been a part of my life all my life, except I didn't have to serve. And didn't serve. So, but anyway, thank y'all for your work. And I think this is a very worthy cause, and the State Bar is very proud of having this type of support for our military. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Brittany Wilson. Brittany Wilson.
Brittany already introduced herself. She's my paralegal. Mike.
Payne.
Brittany already introduced herself.
Excuse me?
Brittany already introduced herself. She's my paralegal.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Some guy named Payne down there, Payne.
Yeah, that would be me. I have the distinct dishonor of having served with Mike Ramos on many a homicide matter. Retired Marine, judge advocate down here in Brunswick County, North Carolina. Glad to be here.
Diego Duarte, Captain.
Good afternoon. I am a current JAG legal assistance office at Fort Bragg with the 18th Airborne Corps.
Thank you. Bert Nunley. Bert Nunley. Hearing no response, we go to Charlotte Stewart. Charlotte Stewart. Okay, well, I can finish this roll call. My name, as I said, is Mike Ramos. I'm the chair. And I'm the counselor for District 15. It's Bladen, Brunswick, and Columbus counties. All right, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. I think Mike Archer submitted those. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which was September 30th.
So moved. This is Gil Beck. I move to approve the minutes.
Second, Warner.
All in favor? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. A CLE report, Mike Archer. Mike, you're muted again.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I sent in an abbreviated CLE report. There was the NCBA had sponsored a veterans and CLE on the 18th of November. I participated in that. And it reminded me of the excellent facilities they have, particularly for doing things remotely. As far as I know right now, there's two places that I know of that can do a really good remote presentation, and that's the NCBA and the University of North Carolina. And the UNC has been kind of out of the picture as a result of it's a COVID casualty, I think. And I would like to explore opportunities to have the NCBA assist to a greater extent with our annual CLE. They had done that before. I know that there were issues, there's some costs involved, some that they were able to absorb or defray, some not. But I'd like to, because of their expertise basically in handling these things, explore opportunities with the NCBA.
Hey, Mike, let me just add, both Mikes. This was really a great CLE. If weren't able to attend, it was absolutely first rate. It was put on by the MVLS, which a lot of folks are members of both the Military and Veterans Law section and LAMP. And there's no reason, because frankly, everyone's on the same page. So I frankly would count this as a LAMP success regardless. But this is a really good thing. And we were looking at, maybe doing the spring thing at Carolina, which we had done before, but it's unclear to me. John Burker's not on, but my understanding is still a slow roll over there on any type of CLE activities, mass groupings like we would normally have. So my sense is we're probably going to be in the fall before we can do anything for sure. But this is a good opportunity to kind of revamp and see if we can combine with the NCBA again until UNC's law is back in gear. But I could agree with Mike more. This was an outstanding program. So everyone involved should be very, very pleased with it. And we'll put this, if we can, we'll try to get it to the SJAs because there's a lot of good legal assistance stuff in there. And if we can get those types of clips that are available for professional education day down there or whatever, it would be worth it to all the installation JAGs.
And now and in the future, if you have suggestions for topics and speakers, I'm all ears about that.
Anybody got any questions for Mike Archer or Kirk?
One other topic topic that we could do, Mike, is one that my senior associate, Chris Hilscher, did for the recent military and veterans section, and that is military disability retired pay. It would be a different audience, but it's the same presentation and we already have it. So if you need that for a presentation, we'd be happy to give it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Any other questions of Mike Archer or Kirk? Let's move on to the Major Command update. I guess that's going to fall on Captain Duarte. Captain Paul.
Sir, we don't really have any major updates right now that we can share with the audience. But next time, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Captain Paul, Mike, can I ask, Captain Paul, is there going to be a tax center this year, or what's the game plan?
I honestly don't know the answer to that because CORE usually runs the tax center So
Yeah.
they didn't do one last year, and I don't want to answer for them.
This is Captain Duarte. I have been informed that there will be a tax center next week. But I don't know much of the details about that. I've been out of the office because I tested positive for COVID, but that's the information that I have been told.
Meredith, you have your hand up?
Yes, sir. I'm actually the tax center OIC at Fort Bragg. We are going to be having a Gold Star tax center this year. So it's going to be pretty small. We're only going to be helping Gold Star family members, and we're going to be open during the tax filing season. So we're opening on the 24th, and we're going to close on April 18th. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess the next item is the web page status. As some of you know, that By Shields, who had done that since I'd been on the committee, retired from the practice of law late last year. And my question to him was, how do you do that? I mean, how do you retire from this business? But he did. And so he resigned his position as webmaster, again, which he had held since I'd been on this committee, at least 3 or 4 years. So that puts us in the dilemma of finding someone else. And we have found her. And her name is Kristen Cohn. Kristen, introduce yourself and tell us what you're going to do.
So my name's Chris Coyne, like money.
Coyne?
And, Coyne, yeah.
Okay.
And gosh, I'm gonna do exactly what has been going on for now as I try to figure out what it was, and then we'll be moving forward. We're want to set up a subcommittee. So if anybody is interested in working with me on this, that would be great. We're talking about showcasing 4 areas at the quarterly meeting: landlord, tenant, consumer, wills, and probate, and then family law. So maybe updates in those areas or new publications that are on the website or anything that's going on that way. And other than that, just anybody has any suggestions or points of contacts or things for me to do to get started, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Kristen. And if you having any problem finding some folks to serve, let me know and I'll find some for you. Thank you.
And thanks to Chris for stepping up.
Yeah, really.
We really need to help, particularly from the legal assistance offices, because this is a work product that they can use, a lot of the attorneys throughout the state. So if you're a subject matter expert in those areas, right now, we kind of roll those out quarterly and kind of look at them in 4 bites as opposed to one giant bite. We really need you to step up and take a look at the current materials and see what we're missing and and same with the legal assistance guys, the LAOs. If you look in there and say, hey, we're missing this would be a nice piece to have. Let us know, let Chris know, and we can ratchet up the committee to try to get some materials in and certainly update things that look old. And the legislature's passing new stuff all the time, and the case law and stuff out there. We really need to keep up with it. So thanks again to Chris for taking on this great opportunity.
Yes, sir. And any of the legal assistance offices or anybody else that has papers that they've already done that you think would be good on there, you can submit it to us to look at. Obviously, everybody's going to look at it, but and we'll run it past the committee before we put anything on there. But, if you have something that you've already done that you think would be appropriate, that would be great.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen, again, for volunteering to do that. Yeah, it's probably one of the major points of this committee has been the web page. And so it's good that we got someone who's willing to do that. Lastly, we got a publication subcommittee, and I don't see Jay White. Jay, the last I remember, and I see in the minutes that we were redoing the Take One and co-counsel bulletin series, and the UNC law students were updating it, and Mark was going to review them, and then Jay was going to put them in some kind of format. And has anybody heard it? Jennifer, have you heard anything from Jay about that?
So I know that he communicated to me that he updated a few and had a few questions for Mark on some of Mark's handwritten edits. So I think those were 5 that were at that more final stage. The others, I think, are still in the process of being reviewed. And so probably I would expect that Chris would want to coordinate with Jay and kind of see where that process is and move on from there.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike,
great.
I received something from Jay's office, and I made the edits or corrections or clarifications that his secretary needed me to make. Yesterday, I got a follow-up that said I still have a couple more clarifications that I need. So I'm working with Velvet Monroe, who is the secretary for Jay, on clarifying what my handwritten notes mean. And then the second issue is I've got an update that I need to review about the support guidelines. And so I'll be putting that together. That's where that is.
Thank you, Mark. So we should have something by April meeting, I would guess.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, that is the agenda item. Those are the agenda items. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
Hey, Mike, just for the LAOs and for everyone else, Dave Hayden, can you give an update on the new legislation that's exempting
Yes,
state tax?
I got it. And for those of y'all that don't know this, if you have anybody who's a military retiree or going to retire in the near future, you want to make sure they're aware of this, because whether your state taxes your retired pay is often a factor in where you decide to go when you leave service. And retroactive to January 1st of this year, a new law was signed by Governor Cooper in the budget that granted or eliminated the state's tax on military pension income. And so going forward, it really goes back to anybody who came on active duty or came into the military from 1984 on. Everybody who came on board prior to that time was grandfathered in under an old court opinion and agreement with the state legislature. But anybody who came on after that, their retired pay has been taxed since they retired. And that is a factor in why people go to Texas and Florida. So that was good news from the state legislature, a bipartisan effort, primarily from some state senators and legislators from the Cumberland County region. But it passed in the House 100-4. And I think it was pretty similar vote ratio in the state Senate, and then the governor had no problem signing it. So for all those involved in pushing that forward, congratulations.
So that's good news for the state, for the tax center. And I guess the other thing is, Bert, do you know anything about what's going on with the Guard? Are they doing another tax center? They always handled a ton of it.
Yes, sir. I got a text from Captain Reynolds, who is in charge of the tax center at Joint Force Headquarters in Raleigh. She says that it is starting 31 January, taking appointments via phone starting 18 January, and then taxes will be drop-off only due to COVID. So they will have to drop all their documents off between 0900 and 0930, and then they will call them when they're ready to be picked up. So there will be, obviously, it's modified this time, but we will be doing them. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bert.
Thank you, Bert. Anything else from anybody? Jennifer?
I know Michael Archer sometimes has a command update. Did you want him to give his command update?
Yeah.
If Mike can get off mute again.
If I got it right this time, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I sent in a written update. We had been visited by the staff judge advocate to the commandant, And he mentioned some things of particular interest, some legal assistance related, some mostly not. One thing that had a sidebar conversation with Major General Bly had to do with domestic violence protective orders. And there's a high volume of military folks wanting or dependents wanting to get them. And perhaps that would, in a less percentage of success for them than for other groups. And so my colleague and I were going to collect information about that with a view toward perhaps justifying a civilian position to deal with that particular issue. It's been delayed a little bit because the domestic violence coordinator down here at the courthouse is is down with COVID right now. But we're going to pick that up and see where we can come. Camp Lejeune is going to have a full service tax center, state and federal taxes. They'll begin on the 24th. And that's kind of the update from Lejeune. I did send to members and highlights of the military working group of the Department of Justice and the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. Particular interest were Director Chopra's comments, or at least one of them, that there was a concern about a long-term issue about service members being the targets of surveillance by state and out-of-state actors. So it's not just the guys that are going to rip you off through scams, but sometimes they might be state actors. This coming from the director of a federal agency. And the case of CFPB versus First Cash West had to do with a bunch of pawn shops violating the Military Lending Act by lending in excess of 36% interest and requiring forced arbitration in their contracts. So I commend that for your attention. The highlights are listed in the written materials that I sent.
Thank you, Mike. Jennifer, have I missed anything else?
Mark Sullivan has his hand up.
Mike, I've got 5 things that I want to talk about for new business.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And the first one is really interesting. Did you know that if you hold down your space bar, you can temporarily unmute? That's what I'm doing right now. I didn't click on the button. I'm just holding down the space bar. So that's a tip for everybody. The second one is I'm working on a legal eagle, which is clients, not state specific, about ID cards for former spouses. Some of the issues are that an estranged spouse will occasionally have the sponsor not cooperate in renewing the ID card. And there are also divorced spouses who may act as their own sponsor. I'm trying to get some information so I can pass this out so that when a client, Lee Bachman, comes into your office and says, my ID card's expired and my husband won't cooperate, this will provide for her an easy way to figure how to get it renewed. If anybody, especially those in the military, would like to help me with this, I'd appreciate their assistance. I'm currently working with a legal assistance attorney at Fort Benning and another legal assistance attorney at Great Lakes Naval Station on putting this out. So this will be the next legal eagle for clients, non-state specific, that we're talking about. The third issue is the information package that we've been working on for 2 years with Chris Coyne's help. This is called the DIG directory. DIG is disclosure of information from the government. I've told Chris that I believe it's in final form now. It's 28 pages long. It's the best single compilation of how you get information, such as what is somebody's rank at retirement, how many years of creditable service does somebody have, when did somebody retire, etc. It's the best directory that I can think of. And so I'm going to recommend to Chris that we post this and make it available to those who are out there. Again, Lee, I'll pick on you because it often comes up that somebody says, how do I get this information? Can I subpoena the government? Can I bring somebody in? Can I subpoena somebody at Fort Bragg? Can I get something compelled to be produced by the Defense Finance and Accounting Service? And this has all the answers for the Guard, for the reserves, for Defense Finance, for the Coast Guard, you name it. So this will be a very useful tool for anybody who wants to get information under FOIA or as an exemption to the Privacy Act. That's the DIG directory. That's number 3. Number 4 is.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, Mike.
Can you send that around?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I'll send it. I've got the final version, which is 28 pages long. With your permission, Jennifer, I'll send it to you, and that will be the official repository. And then if you wouldn't mind forwarding to everybody.
Sure, that'll be fine.
Thank you.
Number 4 is whoever contacts the North Carolina Bar Association, I'd like to put in a request that we continue to try to get surplus books that the Bar Association has. Back when Ray Rupert was on this committee, he did a great job every quarter of turning over any surplus books that they had that they were going to throw away. These are the CLE manuals to judge advocates and legal assistance offices to see if they wanted them. And while we have a hard time doing it remotely as today, it still makes sense that we ask the Bar Association if there are any surplus manuals that they have, CLE manuals that they would otherwise throw out, and make them available to judge advocates like Captain Jimmy Paul, so that if he wants that for his 82nd Legal Assistance Office, he can have it on the shelf, because otherwise it'd go in the dustbin. And the last item is for you, Chris, in the area of wills, powers of attorney, and probate. A former paralegal of mine, Amy Privet, is an attorney here in Wake County, and she has previously presented for CLEs for this committee. And she would be a great resource because she only works in the area of wills, powers of attorney, and probate. So Amy Privet is a name that you can work with, and she could do a great job. That's all I had, Mike.
Thank you, Mark. Anything else from anybody?
Hey, Mike, let me just see if David, are you still with the consumer at the AG's office? For David?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still
Anything
here.
going on up there that we need to add to the mix?
I think you guys we've been doing more big picture stuff, going after big companies, opioids, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Or
you never know.
About 2 weeks ago, if you felt a disturbance in the force, and I know that there are people much more experienced and much smarter in this world, but POTUS signing the policy bill, looks like it's starting to administer the changes of military justice when it comes to sexual assault type cases. I have no idea how that is going to look. I'm sure smarter people than myself are trying to figure that out, and we definitely don't know how it's going to look for National Guard soldiers. So it is definitely a new world with regarding military justice. So I just wasn't sure if folks was tracking that or not. So it's I guess as my kids would say, it's a thing now.
Thank you, Bert. Mark.
I think that also might be, Bert, something that, because it's a new development, we should consider for the CLE program. And we could hook it up with Mike Archer because he's talking about domestic violence. I have off the shelf, ready for presentation, an existing presentation on domestic violence in the military, which will of course have to be updated. But that might be something that the CLE people would consider the new environment, the new normal. How are we going to handle the sexual assault cases, and how are we handling the DV cases?
Mark, you done? Mark, you still have it?
That's a great idea, Mark. Break.
Really,
Yeah, break. What, Mike, I see you've got the vax status. What's going on in administrative separations and going on in that world? And is that something we need to be bracing that could touch on the civilian side as well for defense or whatever?
Well, I think it's going to fall mostly on defense councils, and we may be getting reservists in, reserve judge advocates for the purpose of either defending or prosecuting these cases. There's kind of an unknown there, which is, we have like 3,000 some Marines who haven't gotten vaccinated. But there's a whole bunch of them that they've put in exemption requests. And if the exemption request is denied and all of them say, okay, in that case, I'm going to get vaccinated, then we don't have a lot of cases. If the exemption requests are denied, and most of them almost certainly will be, and a bunch of Marines say, well, I'm still not getting vaccinated, then we've got the potential for a whole heck of a lot of cases. And the effect on legal assistance, it's kind of a downstream effect, which is, well, now we got to take your guys away and have them deal with these admin discharge hearings.
That's the point. I assume same at Bragg, I assume. All right.
All right. Kirk, you done?
Yeah, I'm done. I was just kind of running around the gamut of those types of issues that are coming up that we need to kind of be chewing on ultimately.
All right. All right. Anything else from anybody? Okay. Hopefully, the next meeting will be in Raleigh. Of course, that'll be up to our officers. We usually meet on what, Thursday afternoon when we're in Raleigh, Jennifer?
Yes.
Yeah. And I hope we can do that, particularly for the new counselors and the new advisory members. I don't want to call it fun, but it turns out to be enjoyable, and it's good to see everybody. So hopefully by April we'll be in the clear. But that's something will be decided by the officers, usually a couple weeks out from the scheduled meeting. So unless anybody's got anything else, I'm gonna move to, or have someone move to adjourn.
So move.
Seconded.
Any opposed? Seeing none. Thank you all, and welcome to the LAMP committee for the new folks, and hopefully we'll see you in Raleigh in April.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank
you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Jennifer.